What's any sport without a winner and a loser? Where some athletes make a massive comeback after those losses, others take it to heart and are never able to muster up the will to get back on track. We all know that when it comes to boxing, everything is dramatic twofold. Want to know what we're talking about? Then keep watching this video to know about boxers who never recovered from fights. What's more horrible than never being able to recover from a fight? When you try and try again after that one fight to regain your once glory but fail every single time? The timeline of Tommy Morrison's career in boxing is one emotional story. Don't forget to grab a handful of tissues. Tommy Morrison was regarded as one of the best boxers of all time, with being in the top 10 throughout his career. But after this one fight, things really started to go downhill. At the time when Morrison was unbeatable, he lost a fight to Michael Bentt very badly in October of 1993. And if this wasn't enough, he even lost his WBO title as well. After that, Morrison tried again and again to regain his footing, but failed every time. He did win the fringe IBC heavyweight title to Donovan Ruddock and even got to fight at the WBC heavyweight champion, but he got disqualified really early from that as well. Just before a fight in 1996, Morrison was diagnosed with HIV virus. That just added more fire to the fuel. Morrison lost all hopes after that, and that could be seen with the way he'd changed, the lifestyle he then adopted after that. What happens when a bull is finally unleashed? Things usually go real bad, and that's exactly what happened to Oliver McCall. After winning the 1994 WBC heavyweight title, McCall was regarded as the atomic bull of boxing. And no one knows what happened to this match, but it was McCall's rematch with Lennox Lewis for the WBC heavyweight championship in Las Vegas, and all hell broke loose. July of 1997 will be remembered as not a good time for this boxer, as he started crying right during the 5th round and refused to fight after that. Like Morrison, even McCall was undefeated before this one match, and after this, quite a lot of things started going south for him. He apparently was charged for some sort of crime he'd committed. For that, he served time in jail. And it's not that he didn't try to come back to his former glory after all this. He did, but failed every time. He tried to make a comeback in 2011 with a match against Burt Cooper, but the end result of that fight showed everyone that McCall has lost his once unbeatable charm that was present inside the ring once and for all. What caused the American Dream's nightmare? If someone was to hear the story of David Reed and how he went into achieving that much at his age to suddenly hit rock bottom, no one would believe it. From being called the American Dream to being the only gold medalist in the 1996 U.S. Olympic team, no one had expected that this young and talented boxer would reach the lowest point of his career that quick. During his match with Phoenix Trinidad for the junior middleweight title, something happened that changed the whole dynamics of Reed's career. Even though the young talented lad won that title, the beatings from that much were to such a level that Reed ended up facing some permanent physical and mental damage. His eye got very damaged after that, and Reed did try to fight after, but then he lost to Sam Hill in November of 2001. That caused even more damage to his eye, leading to completely losing his eyesight. Reed then had to retire after that, but he'll forever be remembered as the American Dream. How many careers has Lennox Lewis had an impact on? That seems to be the question after hearing about so many boxers whose careers went in the opposite direction after a match with Lennox Lewis. Seriously, what was up with competing with him? But here we're not talking about Lewis, but Hasim Rahman and the iconic fight that happened between the two, and that changed the whole dynamics of Rahman's career after that. Before talking about him, let's just say that everyone in the world of boxing will remember Hasim for many years to come because of the limelight points in his career. Rahman stayed at the world's top 10 of heavyweight from 2000 to 2005, and in the 20 years of his career, he suffered a lot of things. Rahman defeated Lewis to become the next heavyweight champion, and Lewis was not really in his correct form in those matches. That made him call for a rematch, and that's when things decided to not go well for Rahman. Lewis put all that he had into that rematch and defeated Rahman. This loss had such a huge impact on him that he didn't participate fully in the next 2 years. He did make a massive comeback after that match, but his once glory was never restored after this match with Lewis. Stay with us till the end of the video to hear about some really famous boxers who never recovered from their fights. Meldrick Taylor, bet you'd heard this name before, haven't you? There's hardly anyone who hasn't heard of Meldrick Taylor once in their lives when it comes to boxing. But talk about someone who took one loss to such an extreme level, his name pops up there as well. The two-weight world champion had a very brutal fight with Julio Cesar Chavez. This wasn't the fight that changed things for him. It was in fact the one where he got back up really quickly, but only to get back down as well. After this fight, he fought with Terry Norris, and oh boy, that's when all that Terry had earned went down the drain. It takes a lot for someone to make a comeback after losing that brutally, and then losing the match after that too. Norris defeated Taylor so brutally that he never was able to recover from it at all. Want to know what happens when you make one careless move in your career? Things go south, of course. Roy Jones Jr. was undefeated in heavyweight championships, and after defeating John Ruiz that badly, Jones decided to switch to the lightweight category from the heavyweight one, and that changed the game for him in more ways than one. After making that dramatic switch, Jones did defeat his once former rival Traver, but in the rematch, Traver just knocked Jones out completely. This made Jones believe of what a big mistake he'd made, as things are different for lightweight and heavyweight title championships. With his speed slowed down and his heavy loss, Jones was never able to recover from this fight ever again. If a boxer was added into the Boxing Hall of Fame, then how come he never recovered from this one fight? And with that, we're talking about Donald Curry, also known as the Lone Star Cobra. Curry was one exceptional boxer, but this one fight proved to be so much for him, and not in a good sense. He faced a loss to Lloyd Honeyghan, and after that he added so much pressure on himself to come back to his former glory that he got completely burned out and was never able to recover after that. Curry had so much potential in him, and he would have achieved so much more if he'd just been able to recover from this fight. How can someone with so much potential lose hope, dedication, and focus that quickly? The public had a lot of hope for this one. Chris Aliola was one of the finest boxers of his time, but soon he started losing his focus and dedication after this fight that made the young boxer fall apart. This match was with Vitaly Klitschko, who defeated him so badly that Ariello never got the courage to come back up to his feet again. He did try to remain at the top, and he lost back-to-back matches with Bermane Stiverne, Deontay Wilder, and Tomas Adamek. After that, his career declined completely, and he never became the boxer he once was. What happened when you face such a big loss at a young age? When they say that people in their youth can find the height of success in their careers, they forget to mention that people that young can also find the biggest losses during that too. Jeff Lacey was what all Americans would want from a young boxer. He was talented and full of potential, but after this one match with Joe Calzaghe, things just didn't go well from there. And while many make a grand comeback after losing that horribly, Jeff Lacey was still young, and he did try to come back, but he lost badly at that too, and hence then never tried to regain his glory in the boxing world. What bad management and guidance does to a young, talented boxer. The example lies in the career downfall of Mike Tyson. Tyson achieved things in his career at an age that many can only dream of. Also what many spend their years doing but never come to. But Tyson did all that, from becoming the youngest heavyweight boxing champion in history to qualifying for the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles. Things were going so well for him until he lost brutally to Buster Douglas, and that was it for his glorious career in boxing. With that, we wrap up today's video. We'll see you in the next one.